pairings that you highlighted.
It'll be very funny if they take the whole clock again. I would assume by this point, guys, we have an idea. I actually don't know. I don't know if, you know, when we have pauses during games, it's famous that the players don't get to talk to each other. Do they get to talk to their coaches? Nobody get to talk when they remake a draft? I don't know. That's a question for an LPL podcast episode, maybe, Roodod.
Yeah.
Instead, we're going to get the Cassiopeia. I've actually already been told that the answer, it's a firm no. So there you go. Learning new things. Cassiopeia, though, an interesting first pick, Roodod.
It is, and a very powerful carry that we highlighted that we wanted for HongQ, right? We said, okay, let's put him on a carry. Let's make sure that he can do some pretty crazy things. And the Cassiopeia definitely known for being able to do that. IG immediately spawned with Nyaz Akali, a pick that we've seen him play before and definitely had some good successes on. So if you're able to sort of time your movement spells for when the Miasma gets thrown, Miasma isn't an instant cast by any means, there is a channel to it. So if you're able to get off of the Miasma, this Akali can kind of run roughshod on the Cassiopeia, as this champion requires a really precise skill shot. You require that Q to be landed before you make anything happen. And it's the second game here where JDG have gone for a first pick, which I feel reveals quite a lot about their composition and makes sort of hems them into a style now.
Reveals a lot about their composition, but also leaves up like other powerful picks that you could have gone with that first pick, right? So the Pantheon goes to Jwei, who's on fire form-wise. It's the best jungler left up of the pool. I don't know, JDG. I'm starting to get a bit confused by these picks, and now they're gonna go with a Jhin Karma lane for Gala and Vampire. Okay, I don't know. This just still feels kind of wacky to me.
I think taking top here is going to leave them very exposed down on that bot side, and that pool can get pinched very heavily. You know, we've got things like Yunara Lulu still available, Corki Nami still available. If you don't take any of those pieces, that creates a problem for you in this next phase of bans for IG. But they opt into the Renekton, and now they can take away some of the answers to Renekton. So, you know, you're looking at things maybe like the Gnar, maybe the Jax gets taken off the board that we've seen Xiaoxu default to a couple of times, or maybe it just ends up being another tank on that top side and the Cassante gets to relive 2025.
Good shout on the bot lane, but, you know, this is still like a hugely powerful top side, right? Like, the Akali is great. Pantheon and the Renekton is just a comfort pick here for Breathe. Jace a good ban up against Xiaoxu. I think the Jax is a really good shout. That would be a champion who'd love to play into the Renekton with the way it can kind of cancel out the powerful stun auto for the Renekton. On the other side, JDG, the Bard is one ban. Yeah, I am curious what Jachi is going to be comfortable playing, because he definitely has a more narrow pool of RAD carries with reliable champions, and things like Ezra already gone, Ashe out of the pool as well, and I think he likes to go for the Jhin consistently. So the Lulu taken away, maybe takes some priority out of the Yunara sales. I don't know. Let's see what IG were cooking, allowing topside to be the focal point of the first phase.
Doesn't really matter what they take here, Corki or Nami. They might not go for either one of them, and they might go for something different, but those are the picks that I would see as being viable coming forward from here. As you know, they've got this very dive-centric composition already in the Akali, in the Pantheon. So going forward, really sort of the name of the game. You want a short-range marksman to be able to get in there and do some damage as well. So for JDG, that Corki does get locked in. For JDG, they're looking to play at range. They're looking to kite, and it's sort of a really good composition to be able to do that into, because everybody on IG wants to go forward. So you're sort of looking what kind of top-side champions can enable that front-to-back style. What can be that brick wall in that top side that hopefully can stand firm and sort of absorb and engage as well.
I think the twofold thing as well is that Corki Nami saps some of the early game power that Karma usually brings, especially paired with the Jhin. So early, you know, first rotation of the draft, you might have thought, okay, Jhin and Karma might be able to get a decent amount of push with the bottom lane's champ will narrow down. Not going to be the case here. JDG, with the rest of their draft, are going to round out with a Trundle Cassante here. So definitely looking to use the power of the pillar and now put a decent front line in front of this Cassiopeia. But seeing both these drafts fully, you know, in reality now, Roodod, this has got to be a HongQ massive carry performance, or I'm feeling good about an IG 2-0.
I think that the compositions as they play into one another, I would give a slight edge over to JDG, if I'm being honest. I think that pillar is a really good disruption tool. Yes, there's a lot of mobility on IG's side, so pretty much everybody can get over the pillar, but I think it's going to create so much chaos in these team fights that hopefully the Casio and the Jin Karma can play that front to back. Xiaoxu as well going to be able to take somebody away as they try to dive in. Subjugate means that if anybody goes in isolated, like if they're not completely on the same page, that person can get blown up, right? You sap their resists, they just die instantly, and then IG are having to play a 4 versus 5, which possible, but not easy. I think that the barrier for execution for IG definitely very high in this game, and that JDG have got, honestly, just simpler champions and an easier way to play out these fights.
All right, Roodod, you and your big brain over there have sold me a bit more. I like it. I also thought about the fact for Trundle, we saw JunJia really get knocked around silly in his early game. Trundle really good at, you know, hey, if I see a Pantheon invading in for my Raptors, he can't fight me. I'm Trundle. I'm going to beat him early. Are we going to fight over first scuttle because we both path the same size? I'm Trundle. I'm not afraid of the Pantheon.
I'm winning.
I'm winning. So that may be part of the reason here. Regardless, JDG, this is a big draft for them because they need to keep the series alive. But also, a loss here would put their form going into playoffs in a weird spot, Roodod. We preached this week that they got to play Weibo and IG. Felt like 2 secured wins. Already dropped against Weibo, on the ropes against IG as we hit the rift for Game 2.
Okay, really small thing here, Slayer. Oh.
Oh?
But,
2 small things.
Jwei actually really heads up play, walks in to get autoed by JunJia because he knows the Trundle's going to take Q. Q with the auto attack reset, you can clear the ward. The second Trundle has no Q. That's when Jwei places the ward down and means that it can't get cleared away. It is a small thing, and you know, vision on Raptors, not necessarily the biggest deal, but it is nice to see that for Jwei there, he's planning out when he's going to use that ward and does so in a way that means it can't get cleared away.
I like it. I'm learning new things about the Trundle interactions here with you, Rood. I appreciate it. Really small thing about Vampire burning heal off vision. It's called Aura. There you go. That's all I can really assess that.
So now we have to see whether or not IG know, because there is a way of finding out. If you click on the player, there is the heal debuff, because you can't use heal twice without getting mitigating returns. So if IG have clicked on either of the 2 champions, they will see the heal debuff in the little stat bar in the top left. So there is a way of IG finding out whether or not they did. Obviously, we've got no idea.
And they'll also find out the old-fashioned way if they go in for a Corki Valk forward on the level 2 spike and then they use heal and they don't see it, they're like, well, all right, hey, we'll take that indeed as well. So we'll see if that one costs of an early trade, because for now, the range of the Karma Mantra Qs and Gala's Deadly Flourishes are really jailing Jachi and Mako off of these early waves. Really good use of that by Gala and Vampire to be able to stave off that massive all-in that Corki Nami can bring once level 3 comes around.
Yeah, and importantly in this bot lane, the Corki's HP is only as low as the Nami's mana pool, right? If Nami has mana, she can cast Ebb and Flow, you can get HP back. If the Nami doesn't have mana, that's then a problem and you can't get that health back.
I love this from Breathe, by the way. Mostly because obviously he's into the tank matchup, so this can really create, it's free in the top lane matchup. But with that ward you talked about with the Trundle tech route, dude, they knew that JunJia was clearing top down, so Breathe could go for this proxy.
Well, looks like JunJia a little bit quicker on the clear. He's going to spot Jwei out here and look to fight.
Yeah, all right. Aegis Assault goes up to block the damage with the pillar. Well placed. Sun going to come out from Jwei. He is getting slowed, though. Getting clubbed to death a bit. Exactly why we thought JunJia might have liked the Trundle. Now he's not getting bullied around.
Alrighty, is there an opportunity for a double crab here? Summoner heal still not available down here. Jachi no mana to go for a Valkyrie. Looks like double crab is on the cards, though. As HongQ cheating down to that bot side. Yes, there's a second spawn of Raptors for Jwei, but JunJia here will be able to find both of those scuttles, and we talked about this. The way that JDG look bad is when JunJia ends up being focused, prioritized, taken out early. Not going to be the case this time round.
He's got pushing lanes galore on all sides. Nya is having to work hard for every single creep he can get right now into HongQ with those Twin Fangs, and JunJia sees a low HP bar that he likes off the double
no
grab.
shroud. It's going to be
brash.
flash forced.
It's got to be a flash at the very least. There's the pillar down. Now still going to hold it, then we'll finally commit that flash. But he is bleeding more and more resources, and now is a potential regank threat as he goes forward to try and get some semblance of CS back.
And remember, everybody, this was the counter pick for Nya here. Decided that he wanted to take this matchup, and now going to have to deal with the ramifications of that.
All right, I guess the heal's back up there for Vampire, so nobody's going to find out from IG that the early heal loss could have been a problem, because Gala and Vampire continuing to pump the pressure. They're going to spot Mako getting his reset off. Don't think they can really make a dive work there, but it does get a pretty clean reset for Gala nonetheless, and the lane dominance continuing for JDG Gaming.
Nice to see there that Jiachi, still with all summoners, felt confident to stay underneath the turret. Has been very hesitant to use the barrier, and obviously that has come at a cost of about a wave's worth of CS, as now level 6 is hit on his top side.
Oh, okay. We were playing a little bit Ultimate Chicken. Yeah, my favorite game, Ultimate Chicken. They both cast ults now. Yep, Roodod, they just walk away from each other. Like, all right, you ulted, I ulted. We'll leave things be unless a jungler comes to spoil our fun little game. That being Jwei trying to set up for this dive. Bree's got to get the wave up, though. JunJia can path up here, and that's exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, nice and quick, but Xiaoxu has no mana. Both of these junglers trying to stay hidden.
All right.
Jwei shows.
Jwei shows. JunJia shows. Neither jungler has ult.
Here.
Neither top laner has ult either. Still going to make this dive work on a Cassante. They got to go now. The wave's getting pushed forward. There's the Pathmaker forward. Stun will finally come through. Slice, dice, no kill though. Jwei now got a flash, but JunJia will follow. Trying to slap that club around once more. Breathe going to try to come over to save his jungler, but he might just pay the Pied Piper too. Breathe out in a flash as JunJia picks up first blood.
And I mean, that just felt very, very forced there by IG. There's a clip of Jose Diodo from last night's LCS games going, "What are these guys doing?" and I'm in the same sort of vibe here right now as for IG. That felt that felt very weird. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I feel like once you see JunJia, you should kind of bow out of that play.
Yeah.
But they hard commit, and now they are down to the tune of about 1,000 gold, just over the 6.5 minute mark. Exactly what JDG need to get in their bag. This again is the type of starts that they have gotten when they have blown over most of the Group Ascend teams.
I know we have hit level 6 in that mid lane. I'm expecting this to be a bit of a turning point for Nya. Hopefully he'll be able to sort of make some waves up against the Cassiopeia, but I think that the way that the build paths are going to work out, like Nya's down a lot of gold already. HongQ, you can see in the build, has opted straight for health, knowing that he's going to have to work his way towards Rod of Ages, work his way towards tier, and the Akali isn't going to be posing too much of a threat until probably 2-3 items have come through. Because at that stage, you probably just don't have the damage to get through all of the raw HP that a Cassio has.
I like that. Like that shout. More HP, harder to burst down. That is the play here for HongQ. And maybe he doesn't need that much extra damage right now because every trade we seem to get a lookout in the mid lane proves to be positive for HongQ.
I mean, that's because Nya is hitting no spells onto HongQ, and HongQ is hitting all of his spells.
Great deduction.
Yes. I know. They call me the best colorcaster in the world for saying you hit your spells and they don't hit theirs. That's pretty.
Oh, how about hitting some curtain call bullets? All right, maybe just trying to cancel the back. Trying to make sure Mako and Jachi feel nice and snug together. For shot going to go wide, but yeah. I mean, this lane is also going so heavily JDG favored. Jachi and Mako, I feel like we've been watching them farm under the turret this entire laning phase.
Yes, we have. And now Jachi's doing a slightly better job than Nya has. Obviously, the range is helping him out in that sense, but really solid performance from JDG's bot side. Gala intentionally misses that 4th shot because he knows that Vampire can interrupt the recall, so he's trying to push the wave. Because now we are seeing a 3v3 on this top side. Neither support has made it up here, so this is a fully fledged top side battle.
Grand Starfall coming down. The Dominus pop here for Breathe. Miasma not going to end up stunning anyone, but Petrifying Gaze does catch Breathe. He does not get the heal with the Cole. The Miki goes down first. Now goes in with the perfect execution to get one, but he loses his jungler and has to second cast it out of the fight. IG try and make another forced pounce, and it falls flat once more.
and they're just a little bit desynced there, and you're not ready to go in, and this is what we talked about in the draft. If they're desynced, the Trundle Subjugate is going to do so much work. I hope we get a replay of that so we can see really how well that was played by JDG. But they're going to be the ones who come away with 3 grubs there, able to walk out of that with a lot of gold as well. Now a unanimous gold lead for everybody on JDG, singing to the tune of about a 2k advantage overall.
Beautiful response here from JDG off of that game 1 so far. Also, we're able to pick up all of those grubs, I believe. Jwei just only looked for the fight with that Grand Starfall. He didn't even try to trade a grub. So they've got the first 3 grubs, they got the first dragon, and like you mentioned, the gold lead. So whole kit and caboodle for this JDG early game. And again, important to remind people who have maybe not caught a ton of JDG games so far this split, this is one of the teams that when they have a lead, very rarely do they throw it away. Very confident team with a lead, and that's why partly there was a second place squad in split 1.
Importantly, it's the garnering of those leads, which has proven to be a little bit tricky for JDG through this season. If JunJia's not able to get off to the races, if HongQ's not able to dominate his lane like he is in this case, there can be problems that befall them. However, we got to see that in game number 1. Game number 2, that is completely devoid of any apparency right now, as Xiaoxu decides that 2 turret shots sounds nice for breakfast.
Just limit testing the Cassante resistances and health bar conversation nonetheless. Guess he feels really nice with the Thormail rush completed. Xiaoxu already completes that first item. We see the Roa already completed while Nya is still sitting on components. It's components versus big boy items across the board here for IG, and again, exuding confidence. JunJia, all right, yeah, I'm a Trundle. I may be out of the jungle, but I delete turrets. Let me just get a couple more plates from our mid laner, get that quest done, and I'll be back to my clear. It's really on IG to find a way to answer, and Roodod, it's a hard answer to make. It's not really a lot of options for him to gank onto. He's going to cancel his back and try to go after Xiaoxu. Dashes away, no stun available for Breed just yet. Needs to get close enough for it, but Xiaoxu just wasting Jwei's time.
And now they see the Pantheon on the top side. They're going to work their way through even more of these plates, and you can see the Casio doing such a good job at keeping Nya at bay. Almost take that turret down just off the back of these two, wailing away on that turret, and Nya constantly finding these trades more and more difficult. Might need to rethink this Akali as a counter to the Casio going forward.
We saw Jwei was, again, interrupted his base because he was looking to see if he could Grand Starfall in to cover that turret. If it's already becoming difficult for Pantheon to see angles to use this, game warping ultimate, it's a really bad sign here for IG.
Yeah. I think that the Gunblade for Nya, hopefully that can be the window where you actually start to try and take this all in. I don't think we've seen a solid perfect execution in the 1v1 just yet, but it's now been picked up with Rod of Ages in for HongQ. He's actually just going to go back to base and spend whatever gold he's got to use at this stage. And as we look at the compositions here, we already highlighted earlier on that JDG probably have an easier time of things as they get later into the game by nature of the 2 compositions, but also if we just look at the raw damage across this across both sides, Acacia is going to be able to roar through the late game, where an Akali might struggle to find access. The damage from IG later on, a little bit more difficult to come by. So I think that the scaling in terms of the champions favours JDG, the scaling in terms of the composition goes their way as well. The fact that they're up 3k gold leads me to believe that this game pretty straightforward from here on in for JDG. They've already got the first dragon as well. They found those grubs. They've got everything going their way, and it seems very tricky for IG to find a way back in.
IG need to get this early game JDG locomotive off the track somehow. Jwei trying to maybe work his way for a flank around for the second dragon, but he is on a ward, so this flank has been spotted as HongQ will take his talents at Nya. No blast come for a way to get over the wall, and the dragon is just picked up with ease. Mako now going to eat a deadly flourish. Pillar going to go down. Tidal wave out. Here's the Grand Starfall, though. Mako should be covered from the 4th shot. Nah, going to go after Gala with Jwei. They combine for a nice stun, but Gala survives. It's now with a perfect execution to find that kill, but now he's caught out in space, and JDG will trade him back out. Vampire had to flash out of low HP. Neither support necessarily feeling healthy enough to make this scrap work. But IG are going to just walk this one out. Dragon for JDG Gaming, but a trade of kills.
And this turret as well going to fall Slayer. That crystalline overgrowth means that Just a couple of autos from HongQ. Secures first brick in the mid lane. Very rare that we see this, but HongQ has absolutely handled Nya here in game number 2. We talked about it in game 1. How Nya had a really good time of things. Not going to be the case in this second offing between the two mid laners. A really, really difficult fight for IG. You do get to see some of the problems that they're going to run into later on as well. They commit so heavily to taking down Gala that HongQ's then free to fire. I think in the future fights that are going to be going their way, they're going to need to commit that amount of resources onto HongQ instead and kind of pray that Gala's not quite got the damage.
Do you see Gala going with intriguing first buy of the Hex Optics? Seeing a lot of AD carries try out different first items on Jhin. Obviously, we have the old disgusting Youmuu's Rush that I'm glad is getting phased out, but stuff like Storm Razor was an option. Hex Optics now one. Hubris also up and available, so looks like Gala's putting his spin on the ever-evolving Jhin build discussion.
Honestly, for my money, as long as you build crit, I don't care.
I like that, Roodod, exactly. Yep.
Jhin gets AD. That doesn't matter how he builds it. You know, if he builds crit, if he builds attack speed, whatever. It's the crit that we need, really, more than anything else. And the extra range for the Jhin, if they get a reset, definitely going to be very useful to them when, you know, we look at the roster of IG players. It is like 3 melees and a really short-range bot lane. So the Hex Optics definitely very valuable in this one. As the Herald has been started, a 4k gold lead for JDG, all 5 members here. This should just be easily picked up.
Good luck walking in this low range to Miasma, a Petrifying Gaze. There's the stun, but nice stun follow for Breathe. HongQ does get his flash off. The curtain call comes down from Gala. Naz going into the Shroud to try and find that pick, but all he's going to find is a force shot to the back. Down goes Nya, and IG are sputtering. Breathe gets flicked back into the team to find one, but will immediately die in his effort. JDG, no way for them to lose a fight in this game state.
Double kill for Gala there. This Jhin now also pumping out the damage, as HongQ was the focus for that one, but he had flash.
No way! Oh, Aegis Assault goes up, Pillar in a better spot, and JunJia is hungry. Gonna donate the kill to Vampire. Maybe was afraid of Chachi and Mako coming over the wall. Chachi could go forward with a ton of burst, but they're just too weak, IG. They don't have the damage to compete. They don't have the damage to make these kills into gold.
And that's the disparity in the wallets right there. As we get another look at this fight, it's a good start here for IG. Breathe, heads up play, knows he's got to go for the Cassiopeia, but unfortunately a really nicely timed flash from HongQ buffers the stun. And this is one of the age-old problems with Akali, specifically versus Karma. The Karma route grants true sight, so your Shroud does nothing up against a Karma. It's a really good answer to this pick in the mid lane that Vampire has, for the first time this game, and I imagine for many more to come, being able to pilot wonderfully.
Showing the ever-evolving champion pool of Vampire. He can go toe-to-toe in the Enchanter meta, and how nice is it to do it up against Mako, who, for my pick, might be one of the greatest Enchanter players the LPL's ever seen. Definitely was when he brought a Worlds title back to the region.
Yeah, and I mean, for me as well, you know, Mako done really well.
HongQ, double stun comes down. JunJia can't get in. Petrifying Gaze only going to catch Mako, so Nya's able to find that kill. JunJia with the subjugate will find the trade kill back onto Mako. But IG stronger with their 2 members, or are they? Vampire here. There's the Deadly Flourish stun, and here comes Gala from halfway across the screen to make sure that JDG can't even win out on the pick play towards the side lane. All out from Xiaoxu. Nya will fall as well. JDG, what a bounce back. Looking like a whole different team in this game, too.
Running absolute roughshod over IG, doing so much work in this bot side. Yes, they lose HongQ, but you can see the amount of damage that is present across everybody else, right? JunJia, the one who steps up and tries to take the 1 versus 2. He's got Vampire in his back pocket, and that's about all that he was after. So now HongQ's going to TP up, try to defend this turret. Breathe does have Dominus, and it might be a bit of an effort in a 1 versus 1 here. Look at the minimap, though. We have got Diati on his way over. Looks like Breethe's probably going to be executed or given over his life.
Gala's going to cut him off first. Last cone, he's holding the Deadly Flourish. Oh my god, even gets the snag there as Breeze tries to kite back. Gala will pick up the kill, and all the while that was happening, JunJia got JDG on a soul point at 18.5 minutes for another Infernal Soul. everything going right for JDG, even in the luck department with some of these Drake Souls. And now, well, welcome to playing AD carry up against the Fed Trundle, Jachi. You just get run on down. Mako, though, able to cover with a nice heal and barrier, but that is a warning to Jachi for the rest of this one.
Yeah, you talked about ultimate chicken in the top lane. You got to see movement impairment chicken there between JunJia and Jachi. Well played by the Corki there to make sure that that Valkyrie wasn't used until the pillar goes down. Dodges away from the deadly flourish and make sure that his Valkyrie can't be interrupted by a pillar going up. But that's as good as the story gets. They had to use barrier to live. You're seeing HongQ take more gold on this top side. The Gromp's being denied by JunJia as well, and it's all just going from bad to worse for Invictus Gaming. They didn't have the best composition in terms of scaling, and again, I think this is a composition where you just have to keep throwing your head against the wall and hoping something sticks, because it doesn't get easier for you. As long as you execute on your team fight, there's always a world where you can kill HongQ or you can kill Gala, and then you kind of have to pray that there's not enough damage on the rest of the squad to take you all down.
Which, right now, there is and then some.
Yeah.
JunJia, a problem. And, of course, either HongQ or Gala, everyone survives. Very much adept at getting through a team.
And that's assuming that they even kill the other one as well, right? Like, so
Yeah.
far, the execution of trying to kill HongQ or Gala has been difficult. Vampire's there with Echoes of Hellier, with shields, and then there's a Cassante buying space, a Trundle buying space.
Jachi, though, trying to maybe collapse some of the space. And oh, hey, listen, there's a small. We'll take the wins where we get him right now, Invictus Gaming, and he stole away the big Raptor. And they were going to get flanked here by Xiaoxu, but IG are able to walk on out. Very hard for them to control any division at this point as well, as Baron is onto the Rift.
Honestly, for JDG, they've got Cassio, so the Baron can go down quite quickly, but I think that the way to play this one out is just ensure IG don't sneak it away. Pick up your soul in 2 minutes, and then you can take pretty much any fight that you see fit. It's really easy to control this bot side jungle as well. The bot lane tier 2 has fallen, so access through this bot lane can easily be garnered. As you can see, IG have got a lot of defensive pink wards down through this bot side to try and make sure that, you know, that they're not getting collapsed upon, that they've not got any deep TP wards in lieu of that Drake spawning in a couple of minutes' time.
Yeah, either side of the map they look to play for Roodod. The terrifying thought of having to walk into a Cassio, walk into a Jin Deadly Flourish, like all of this, that's what seems scariest. So either objective I don't think they necessarily need to take without just forcing IG to come in and fight them, as Breathe has a fight that he does not want, with HongQ covering on to Xiaoxu. There was no chance for Breathe to escape. He burns Flash, he burns Dominus, he still goes down nonetheless, as Jachi is forced to use the Valkyrie again over that pillar. Won't be Dragon Soul yet, but it's still more kills over to JDG.
Yeah, and Nia's on top side. HongQ.
Oh, Petrifying Gaze does not clip onto Jachi, but again, there's just not enough damage. He's able to escape with a flash onto his life. Now on the backline, though, does find Gala, but again, where is the big burst damage for IG? They just don't have it. They can't make any of these kills a reality. Deadly Flourish gonna catch Jachi, and a Valkyrie might save him. Xiaoxu gonna flash forward, 3-strike to Tofos. Do not get the pullback.
But that's double summoners off of the Corki with Drake spawning in 1 minute 10 seconds. Look at the summoner spells expended on the other side of things. Everybody pretty much flashing out there. We've still got Nia with flash, still got Mako in terms of Invictus Gaming, and then for JDG, JunJia has flash, Vampire has flash as well. So I honestly think that is quite favourable for IG. They're able to get flashes off of those crucial members, and they've still got Nia flash. And I think that's going to be the real big kicker here. If he can find access and take out HongQ, take out Gala, that's going to be a way that they can find this win. Again, IG just have to keep bashing their head into this JDG composition and hoping that at some point it works. They're down 7.5k. It's not going to be easy, but when their ultis come back up, that's the window. Try and make something happen. It's about as good as the item breakpoints are going to be found as well. Largely 2 items across the majority of carries.
Oh my word. Mako, though, is burning alive. Nearly dies. Gets a tidal of out. He's just to push out of the fight here. Breathe off the top side with Dominus up, but now he is being pushed onto an island once more, and all of JDG come down on top of him. Breathe dropped right as the dragon spawns, and IG don't even feel like they can play to stop the soul.
Yeah, no tidal wave available, no HP for Mako, and I mean, it's just all too easy here for JDG. Jwei did have Grand Starfall, elects not to go in with no vision. Here on vision, so JunJia beelines it towards him. Says that's our red buff now, buddy, thank you.
Red buff, Krugs, Raptors, this is just my jungle, man. It's not yours anymore. Gonna have to give up all of that space as IG are trying to take up space of their own onto the top side. He gets a vision onto Baron, but I think that Infernal Soul might have been the last, the last dagger to take down IG into this one. If you thought HongQ and Gala were scary, even JunJia was scary before. Wait until the Infernal Soul gets behind a 3-item Cassio, soon to be, and a 3-item Jhin. Gala already has the IE done on that crit path.
Yeah, and obviously, Gala gets confirmed crit, so the scaling on crit damage for the Jhin, definitely very valuable. And 75% isn't truly 75% because he has 25% built into his kit anyway, so slightly higher off regardless, as now JDG, they've completed step 1 of my plan. They've secured Infernal Soul. Now is the time to head for Baron.
Well, right now they're heading for a fight. They're really trying to push Jachi and Mako off the midway. JunJia chunked to about 60% HP. He still has access to that Subjugate, though, which will help him get topped off a lot more. And they keep trying to just keep Jachi, all of IG away from the topside Baron. Because while Breathe is trading for a top tier 1 on his lonesome, Xiaoxu has a better answer of his own.
And importantly as well, they've got inside track on this Dragon. The Cassiopeia will melt this. It means that she can't run Anchor and deny people access, but that looks like it's Gala and Vampire's job right now.
Well, they got Breeze's TP, so now they're looking to fight him immediately as he arrives. That 30% TP shield doesn't mean squat. Breeze gonna pop. The Dominus is in, goes away with the Angel Soul trying to block all of JDG's damage. Petrifying Gaze is gonna tag onto Jachi. Wade not gonna go down just yet as Jachi finds that first kill. Nyako's into the Shroud, trying to buy his time and go after one member. He sections out Vampire, and he will trade him. Flashes, but will drop. IG, though, able to find 2 kills of their own and shut down the Baron play.
And that's what Nya needs to do here. I think giving your life to try and take down some members of JDG is the way to go. Unfortunately, the members that he's taken out are the least relevant at this stage. Gala and HongQ still alive, still full HP, as now JunJia stepping forward once again.
Killer up. Breeze's got to walk around it. Deadly Flourish going to snag him. Miasma, so there's nowhere to step out from if you're Breathe. Nice little turnaround from HongQ Company. Flash forward, I believe, from Juju to try to get over the tidal wave, but he's still got the pace to run down Jachi. Another kill going over to JDG. It might have been a nice valiant effort from IG to slow down this JunJia Gaming team, but they just can't find a win.
2-man band going to step up to the Baron now. They've got Xiaoxu there to be able to tank it up as well. And just to add insult to injury here, JunJia doesn't even need to be a part of the Baron take. He says, nope, you're going to try and go for this crab, so I'm going to deny it from you. As the Baron is secured, JDG should be here very often, very ready for game number 3.
An eloquent bounce back that we attribute to a top 8 team. Even if they shouldn't, even if they feel like they should be in this scenario. Let's get a look back, though, Roodod, at what did kind of work for IG in this little fight.
Yeah, so honestly, it's all eyes on Nya here. I like the fact that they're going forward. Again, this IG composition just has to go forward. There's no other way around it. So Nya here, I mean, he has to focus the Cassante. He has to kind of go in and do what damage he can. Jachi doing some good front-to-back work as well. But importantly, look on the left-hand side there. Gala, HongQ, full HP, no stress, no problem. And honestly, for Nya, he's just sat in the Shroud waiting for his cooldowns to come back up. And he does manage to find a 2 for 2 there. So it's not bad, but you can see here the duality, really, of IG, and importantly of Jwei. 0-7-5 in this one.
We've seen both of our junglers in this matchup get completely rocked and shell-shocked out of their game plan so far. It's going to make Game 3 a very fun puzzle for either of our junglers to try and solve. In the present, though, the Baron push is successful for JDG. Mid lane inhibitor already down. Top lane turret next to be found. As Gala pulls out the curtain call just to get some nice chip damage in. Force the tidal wave out of Mako early to answer that ultimate. And they're on to the next inhibitor.
Jachi again, pillar up, is able to get over it, but look at the amount of cannon minions Baroned up, trying to just whittle away at this structure. JDG with the Baron, they're slowly working their way through.
Oh, but a petrifying gaze onto 4 from HongQ. No better symbolic cherry on top than that. JDG, a bounce back of the ages after a stumble in game 1, and they are going to take a much more dominating win of their own. Our second to last series of the regular season split is going the distance.
And HongQ just stops them right in their tracks there. It just wasn't even close. I like the play, right? You have to kind of go in there. You have to stop your Nexus from falling. But HongQ's ready. Petrifying Gaze catches 4-man, and that was just brutal to watch as an IG supporter. It's JDG now who give themselves a leg up and maybe start to question if they can put themselves into that second seed for playoffs.
Yeah, so a reminder coming out of this game, in case you're curious of the stakes here, for this game 3, right? It's clear cut. IG, they get this game 3 win. They will move up to 6th place over Weibo. We've done all the tiebreakers. Fun fact, by the way, now that we're going into game 3, Rood, we could tell the people that the tiebreaker, we actually did the math. It was game time against the head-to-head. So how quickly did IG win versus Weibo? It's the difference of what, like 5 minutes? Or 6 minutes almost? So that's what will get them up to 6th place. And then if you're an AL fan, you're really hoping that IG can get that win as well, because that would mean that no matter if AL lose or win to BLG, thanks to game score, they will get 2nd spot over JDG. If JDG win, AL have to beat BLG.
Yeah, so it's there's still a lot to play for here. Again, it's seeding mainly. We're not going to see teams move into the top 4 or out of the top 4. It's movement within those top 4 and then 4 through 8 slots. But again, it does have an impact on how the playoffs end up going. So we want to make sure that we're giving you guys the accurate, the up-to-date information as we see it. IG, I think, would love to end on a 6 and 8 scoreline. I think that's not a tremendously bad ratio. It means that you got 2-0'd by one team, but then took series off everybody. Obviously, that's not what it is in practice, but that's the sort of vibes that you get with that.
Vibes indeed. They need to restore as we get a look back at this game too. Soon to have the post-game stats coming, because this was, night and day from their game 1 win. Roodod, if we're going off vibes though, and universal powers, this does kind of shape up for us to at least have a pretty competitive game 3, I would say.
Yeah, I'd like to think so, and I think that jungle matchup in particular has been the thing that swings it either way. If it's Jwei who's able to get off to the races for IG, then the game is won for them. But this time round, he didn't really get to do anything, and JunJia played a wonderful Trundle game. I think he comes away with a crazy good scoreline, but I think that's largely off the fact that HongQ was absolutely dumpstering the R in the mid lane and kind of made it so wherever Jwei tried to go, he was answered by a Cassio and a Trundle instead of just that Trundle.
I mean, hand up, I was the one that felt like this draft was a little weird from JDG. I thought the Trundle was a little weird, but in practice, I learned what you already knew, Roodod, that you felt like this JDG comp was a bit better. I'm not going to give you too much credit. I don't think you thought it'd be this dominant off the draft, but it was a win nonetheless. As we take a look back at the stats here, and yep, HongQ showing why you should not pick 5 champions that are lower range than a Cassio.
I mean, this was B1 Cassio as well. Like this was, or Red 1 Cassio, I suppose. Like HongQ said it with chest and said, "What are you going to do to my Akali?" IG thought they had an answer, just was not the case at all.
No, and that was really kind of the shortcomings of that caps the ceiling of IG's potential into playoffs. Well, it wasn't necessarily like Jachi or Nya getting early leads and then not being able to kind of finish, not really being able to the team fights. This early game that the highlights aren't going to show, it was just mid-game constantly getting pushed in. This Akali never comfortable, and the Corki Nami that we felt like should have some pretty good fight power into Jin Karma was also consistently down CS and consistently stuck under their turret.
I mean, as much as Breathe didn't lose lane, it felt like 3 losing lanes into lose game, which, it's pretty brutal. As far as games go, and not something that you typically look to replicate as we move through the series. So hopefully into game number 3, the final one, the decider, we can get a little bit more from both of these sides. Obviously, I think JDG can be very happy with their performance from this game, but game 2, much better than game number 1. They'll be looking to improve upon that, and I think that if we get ourselves a nice tight game between these two, we could be in for a real banger.
That's what I'm hoping for, Roodod. But before we get too ahead of ourselves on the show, I want to pick your brain about player of the game, because it does feel to me at least that there are some obvious candidates, but this was a resounding kind of team win. So I'm curious where your head's at who you felt like was most impactful for this JunJia Gaming win.
I'm going to go with HongQ. I think JunJia will get it, but I think HongQ was the reason that JunJia's going to get it. Because the Trundle destroyed the Pantheon, but he was only able to do that because there was never a threat of an Akali whatsoever. Like, it was, if you even think back to that Herald fight, the Cassio was both zoning the Akali and contributing to the team fight at the same time. That's where the lead really started to go their way. And I think that there's just not really an excuse to give it not to HongQ in this case.
I am in complete agreement with you, Roodod. And if we're doing recency bias for our voting, nothing will really give you the sign you're looking for to vote HongQ than what you just saw on your screen, a 4-man petrifying gaze to finish the game off. So if there's ever a play, everyone likes to talk about for AD carries, the boom damage stat sways voters. Maybe the end of the highlight is what usually should sway voters here on this one and pick up HongQ. We'll have to see if he gets that award. For all we talked about, Jwei, dominating player of the games in IG wins. I don't have the math in front of me, and well, I guess we'll get it if we see the HongQ MVP. I'm curious how much. Oh, we're not gonna see the HongQ MVP.
Like I said,
you
called it. Gonna get it. Yeah.
Wow, you called it.
I'm just locked in. I know exactly. I beef with these guys far too often. Like yesterday and the weekend before as well. I went, "You're robbing somebody," and I knew HongQ was getting robbed again this time. But yeah, JunJia, a very valid second for me.
Well, you know what's a sweeter taste than a player of the game, regardless who it goes to, a series win. And that's what both of our teams will be hunting here in a do-or-die Game 3, just as we wanted it here as we look to close out the best of 3s of the split, and we move into best of 5s. We are going the distance. JD Gaming, Invictus Gaming, both Games 1 and Games 2, particularly lopsided for either's occasion. Let's hope we get a Game 3 banger here to close out the split for both JDG and IG. We'll get that underway on the other side of an intermission.